Hello, and welcome to Deathgarden's Early Access Dev Diary. I'm Ash Panel, the Creative Director, and I'll be taking you through a few of our plans moving through Early Access. I'll be talking about where we are now, where we're planning on going, and sharing a few of our ideas about what we want to do. So over the course of this Dev Diary, I'm going to be talking about three main pillars of our game: the fantasy, the characters, and the gameplay progression. If ever there was a time to make adjustments to our gameplay, to our fantasy, to our characters, to our progression, to everything we're doing, Early Access is that time. It's a chance for us to really make a turn, to make a difference, to give you what you want, to listen to what you're saying, and to make big decisions. This is the time for us to do it. So one of the most important areas that we're addressing in our game is that of fantasy. The actual sense as a player when you enter the game, not just from what the game looks like, but also what the game feels like. So the key word for the fantasy for us is survival now. It's the idea from the top to the bottom, from the fantasy of the characters, to the runners, to the hunters, to the brutality that takes place inside this trial is all about survival. And obviously to do that, we need an incredibly brutal hunter. We need this sense of this overpowered killing machine that is going to wipe them out to stop them doing it. It's not about winning, it's about staying alive. It's about how long can you stay alive. It's about how much can you gather, how much can you get before you are eventually killed. And now the survival allows us to drive the game darker, to drive the themes of the game darker, and the brutality as well. So we felt like we had to make a change to the characters that we currently had in Deathgarden. Right now they're very much you as a player who puts on different skins that embody characters of the past. But we felt like we wanted to front load the lore of the game more, that we wanted to have better opportunities to drive our fantasy forward, to drive the reasons that you play, to have a better connection with the characters. And that for us meant we're going to want to move to a character-based system, ones with personality and attributes as well. So our main goal is to make each one of the characters stand out. Whether it's the hunters or the runners, both have to have a unique and individual personality. For example, the hunters need to be these terrifying things that strike fear silhouette-wise into the hearts of the runners. But for the runners, they all need to be individual characters. Each person who's come to this trial comes from a different backstory. They have a different reason to be there. And this is going to be really important because each character will have their own backstory, have their own name and lore and series of outfits that they can dress up in. But then more importantly, they'll also have a progression, player empowerment progression, which they can be invested in based on your gameplay experience. So for the gameplay, we're working on something quite big and quite exciting. Definitely fits the new direction of the fantasy, but I can't talk about it now. But what I can talk about is that we're looking to try and soften two key areas of the game. The first one is the sense of personal reward in the game. So this is the idea that whatever you do as an individual in the game, whether you're a runner or a hunter, you get rewarded for your actions. And the second part is linked to it too. And we're exploring the idea of cracking the team play of the game. Right now the game is very team orientated, and every success or failure condition is based on the team. And we're looking at trying to soften that. We're looking at different ways that we can make the player feel empowered for what the individuals do. So even as an individual runner, we want the idea that the player can go through the whole game experience, and whether they won or lost, or whether they lived or died, at the end of the day, they get rewarded for what they do in the game. So we're exploring all kinds of different avenues that allow us to blur the lines between hard team play and also individualistic play as well. So we're actively working on both the team play and the personal scoring right now. These will be in a future update patch, and we'll be able to share this with you as soon as possible, and you'll be able to see what we're talking about. You'll be able to play it, and you'll be able to give us early feedback on how these are affecting your performance in the game. So the basic idea is less updates, but more meaningful updates. We're going to take our time to get the gameplay that we want, and then we're going to give that to you, and then we're going to go through the same feedback process that we've just been through. So we're going to listen to what you have to say again, and we're going to adjust again. So we're not going to give you any dates today, but we are working hard towards our goals, and we're going to keep you updated in the coming weeks exactly what our plans are. We're going to have a new roadmap at some point. We're going to be able to communicate exactly what our rollout's going to be. When are we going to do our content drops? When are you going to be able to play new parts of the game that we've talked about today? When will the characters come in? We'll have all that information coming forward. So stay tuned.